Looks like a pipeline going through it. Along there and along there. Might be just big tree roots. So we're here.
Oh yeah, it's like halfway there. Because this tent, we're here. U-tops and north.
Seen bus drivers almost come to blows at that parking area before. So it's in a lot of the overseas guidebooks for the Milford Road. Got to stop off at the Mirror Lakes. So you get tour drivers come in who weren't familiar with how things worked, and they sort of snake in front of somebody else, and oof, World War III. It's all very peaceful and relaxed now. Changed in millions of years. So you can find these kinds of beech trees in Tasmania, Aussie, parts of the lower bit of South America. You'll see them around in Patagonia. There's been fossilised remains of these trees discovered in Antarctica of all places as well. So obviously this dates back to a period when there was a big 20 kilometres to our left is Milford. So yeah, no such thing as a straight road down here. On the other side of the Livingston Mountains, out to our right, is the Greenstone Valley. When you get on the other side of the Greenstone Valley, you've got the North Arm of Lake Whakaturu. So yeah, if we could bash through here, it'd be a pretty quick trip home. Considering how close by the two locations are to each other, there's been a few schemes over the years to try and shorten that distance even further between Queenstown and Milford. Some of these ideas certainly a lot less practical than others. Been a few ideas over the years to put monorail into the Greenstone Valley. Long ago there was a guy who was trying to gauge interest in building a gondola over the tops of the mountains in a part of it on a nice clear sunny day. Be a great money making exercise, but I definitely wouldn't want to be in a gondola pod on top of one of these mountains in a thunderstorm or a blizzard. Going back a few years now, there was talk of a new road going out to Milford. Now that was going to go, then it would have met up with this road down in the Hollyford Valley. So if that road had have got the go-ahead, beautiful scenery. Now there's a really quick way in and out of Milford Sound. That's on board a scenic flight. So there's an airstrip out at Milford. Sightseeing planes that go from Queenstown over to Milford and back, about 30 minutes one way. So it's an awesome trip to do. Guaranteed a window seat because they're all like 6 to 12 seater planes.
I'd rather walk.
Get down really, really close and personal with some of these mountains. Been fortunate enough to fill up a spare seat a couple of times over the years. Certainly an epic journey going in or out of Milford by air. Might possibly be a few planes out there today. Mountains out there. Rootburn track crosses over them. Little break in the trees up ahead on the right. Be able to look down into the Hollyford Valley below.
Wow. This is where the bus drivers would earn their tip money at the end of the day through this section. Especially when the big diesel tanker was coming out of Milford after filling up all the boats. Never a fun time when you'd meet it here. Coming until you get onto the corner.
it's not a tourist.
Clear. So, end of January last year, a big flooding event happened out through the Hollyford Valley here, which caused extensive damage to the road up ahead. It's still getting fixed up now. Landscape is designed to accommodate lots of rainfall, but it's slightly different last year. A little over 24 hours, the rain gauges out at Milford collected over 1 metre of rainfall. It was even heavier out in the queue one day. Absolutely sweating bullets as we were coming down from the divide. Got very, very quiet on board the bus. Nice peaceful trickle of water today. A little bit different last year when the flood happened, where all of this new seal is here and all the fresh gabion baskets, all this got washed away. Kind of hard to picture it at the moment, but when you get back into phone reception, there's footage that you can see of the Hollyford Valley on YouTube. If you just put in 2020 Fiordland flood. People were stranded on the Milford Road, was washed away in front and behind their camper vans. They had to wait for the storm to pass. Helicopters came in and rescued them. A bunch of people were trapped out in Milford as well. We're a one-lane bridge here. We've got the Christie Falls on the left.
It's nice.
Won't stop on the bridge for too long, it's always a bit sketchy. Got a couple of vehicles behind us as well. So what we'll do, team, I'm pulling up ahead here on the right. Not technically illegal. Been a soggy couple of days, hasn't it?
What a friendly young fella you are.
Over him, carried him out under my arms. Might have held on for a couple of minutes longer outside before I let him go. Couldn't get a smile off my face
Yeah,
for
I
the rest
just
of
looked
the
back
day.
and I just saw. I know a
A couple
parrot
of big
when I
holes
see
in my
it.
jacket, but it was worth it.
You look like a quit?
You know, when I look back,
No,
what
it's
I
funny.
wanted to take. Yeah, I saw a parrot before I saw you pointing. I know a parrot when I see it.
Drink out of it.
No. Didn't you bring water bottle?
I've got one in the bus, but it's got water in it.
sea level, a little bit further up. towards Milford increased. So that's when the traffic lights went in. Pretty steep in here as well. It's got a 1 in 10 gradient, which means every 10 metres forward we travel, we're dropping down 1 metre. So often in winter can be snowing on the side of the tunnel that we went in. Clear down below. Work started on the tunnel in 1935. Wasn't finished until 1953. That's when the first car was able to drive all the way through.
Well, the war in between that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there was a world war that slowed things down a bit. Yep. It was hard going in here though. Initially, they were using picks and shovels to dig out either end. It was really hard granite inside the Homer saddle, so they had to use explosives. Approximately 200 kilos of dynamite to remove 20 centimeters of rock. There's a whole bunch of cracks through the Homer saddle, so the snow melt and rainwater would filter through. So how it would work was they'd go in, drill holes in the rock, plant the charges, blow it out, carry out the debris. It would fill up with water and get flooded. They had to drain out the water, go back in, plant the charges, rinse and repeat over and over and over. Coming out the other side. One of my favourite views in the world out here.
Stop. Oh, that looks like a Swiss mountain path down there.
Yes.
Welcome to Jurassic Park. So back in September, when the road was shut down for 6 days, there was a couple of big avalanches which came down this side of the Homer saddle. One of them sort of just up on the left, went all the way across the road down through here. Down below you can see all of that sort of cleared out area down there. Another big one pushed its way down through there. Folks, we will go for one final very quick photo stop here. Starting to get a little bit snug for time, but only about 20 minutes away from Milford from
had big barriers up there. It's also a favourite spot for another Kia to hang out. That one's name is Guillermo.
And where is he now?
Yeah, I think he might still be drying out after all the rain. He was there yesterday, absolutely soaking wet.
Oh.
What was it here?
Here, another Kia.
Wow.
Now we're in third and final valley now, coming out the Homer Tunnel. That puts us into the Clethi Valley. So depending on how you pronounce it, it's either Clethi or Clethi. See, it's spelled C-L-E-D-D-A-U. So for ages I was saying Cledau. One day I had a guy from Wales on board who very politely